Welcome to our chorus series.
In this series, we're going to look at chorus pedals from some of our favorite manufacturers.
On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at a chorus pedal. But before we get into that, we'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with the great people in the industry. In this case, we went to our friends at Zzounds and asked them for the Boss Waza Craft CE-2W as part of our chorus series. We wanted to get that in. It is a very classic chorus pedal.
Yeah, I mean, could you really do a chorus series and not have a CE2?
Right.
Right, and because of the costs and availability of an original CE2,
Right.
Boss has done this really cool thing where they're putting out the Waza series, so the CE2W, the Waza, and they've done this with several pedals now. We had the Dimensions.
Sounded great.
I think there's a Blues Drive. I mean, there's a whole bunch.
You have the DM2?
The DM2W. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of the Waza Craft stuff. The nice thing is it's kind of like this kind of true to form recreation, but then they add a little extra bonus.
Yes.
Which I always wonder, all these people that are like, we're bringing it back, but we're adding something. So are you really bringing it back? Or like, I don't know.
It's in there. It's in there somewhere.
Right. They probably, this thing is so well loved, I think they could have brought back the CE2 and not put the W on the end and been just as fine. Anyway, so real quick features, 2 knobs. So we have a rate or a depth, and we have a rate knob. So speed and how the depth of the chorus. But then there's this cool little switch all the way to the left where it says S, gives you the CE2W. Flip it over 1 and you're into the CE1 chorus side. Flip it over again and you're into the CE1 vibrato side.
Right.
And I think I noticed something when we were doing clips for this, that the CE1, the speed on the CE1 vibrato, I did say vibrato, didn't I? Is much faster.
Yeah, if you just switch the toggle, the rate is faster.
The rate's faster, which we noticed in kind of a recreation of the CE1 that we did recently. We'll just throw that out there.
So maybe that's accurate.
Sorry, Boss, it wasn't a Boss pedal. Yeah, so maybe that is accurate because Boss did it too. Sounds.
Yeah, so whenever we get a new chorus pedal in, we sort of have our own little thing we play for each one. I always grab the Silver Sky SE, use the Echo Tour, DLS Echo Tour, and the Tyler, and I play this on every chorus pedal.
So for my first clip, whenever I use a chorus pedal, I like to just kind of use it. In some of the songs, we're just kind of chugging chords. So I wanted to do something like that. Pat used it on the CE2 side. I flipped the switch over to the CE1 chorus side, just to see that little bit different flavor. Grabbed my American Strat and played this. might be able to hear the hiss from the Tyler. We just turned it on. We thought we'd run through the knobs for you, give you an idea of the range. There's 2 knobs, right? So we have a rate, which I have set right now about 1 o'clock, and a depth, which I have all the way down. Pat's going to play. We'll run the depth knob up. I'll leave it kind of high, then run the rate knob for you and let you hear this. That would go like... I do want to point out one thing about the speed knob between the different settings. So if you play a chord, let it hold. I'm going to leave it where it is. Rate's all the way up. Depth is pretty high. He's going to play a chord, let it hold. I'm going to go from the CE2 to the CE1 chorus and then the CE1 vibrato. And I just want you to listen to what happens to our rate here at top speed. So, for some reason, and we noticed this on like a CE1 clone, right, that the vibrato, it's like, in the chorus setting, I don't think it ever gets as fast as you think it would get.
Right.
And then when you go to the vibrato setting, it starts off pretty quick and it gets really fast. Interesting. Maybe if we had kind of a more, let's do, both had 2. I know you like that.
That's right.
And then I'll play just a little bit more on each setting so you can hear the difference between the 3 settings now. I really like that CE1 chorus.
Yes, I do. I know we're doing the CE2 with the ones in there. That sounds great.
Sounds good. There's a feature on here we haven't talked about. That is the output B. All right. So at first we're like, oh, it's stereo, right? So you think we're going to send that out to the amps in stereo. We're going to pan one to the right, one to the left. You can hear it swirling around your head. And then what we realized is that's not how this pedal works. Output A sends out the wet. Output B sends out the dry. If you have it just an output A, like mono amp, it sends out both to 1 amp. Mm-hmm. But if you use 2 amp, it splits it. And it's really kind of, I figured we ought to do the same thing. Play through the 3 settings and run it out to 2 amps. We weren't planning on doing that. But I'd just like to spring that on Pat.
That's right.
And I'm sure, like, hey, Pat, you want to play through 2 amps?
Yeah, you're going to play in stereo again for the 2nd week in a row? Yes.
Okay, so give us 1 second here. We'll plug in the other amp and we'll come back and we'll do that. So we're back. We have output A going into the Tyler. We have output B going into the Fender. So the Tyler's getting the chorus. The Fender's getting a dry signal. What we're going to do is we're going to play on each setting Pat's going to play on each setting 4 times. First time is going to be both amps. Second time, I'm going to mute the Fender. Third time, I'm going to mute the Tyler. Fourth time will be... So you hear both just the Tyler, just the Fender, both. I'll try and put pictures up. The one thing I'm not sure, like if this was stereo, I would hard pan them both, so you'd hear it bouncing around in your head. Because it's not doing that, I don't think I can hard pan them. Maybe I'll put a little image of what the panning looks like.
Until you sit down to mix it, you're not sure how it's going to sound the best, because we have not done wet dry before.
Until I put my pro audio mixing degree that I don't have to use. Right. Not sure how it's going to sound the best to me, maybe not to you. So go ahead. This is cool. Whenever we do a chorus pedal, we like to see if it can get that Leslie sound, because we did a whole series called That Leslie Sound. Kind of wish I would have recorded it with 2 amps, but I didn't. I did record it with the CE-1 vibrato side, with the speed up pretty high, the depth up pretty high. And this is my approximation of That Leslie sound using the CE-2W.
Every time we do a chorus series, I like to try to maybe add a little bit of drive. Today I picked the Greer Lightspeed, so I add a little bit more, a little push. I wouldn't necessarily say drive, a little push, maybe a little bit more sparkle on that. I played this 60s Strat that we got in. We're going to get its sire in and a Charvel in, and we're going to do one of our three-way comparisons of SSS guitars. This one came first. It's sitting down here today. I plugged it in, and this is what I did.
for this next clip, I'm not going to commit to a guitar because I recorded the clip twice on 2 different guitars. I'm not sure which one I want to use. But I think what I did is went over to the CE2 side, took the depth
pretty far up
in the right, pretty far down. And because I wanted to get a little taste of that CE2. So that's what I'm going to say about it. Here you go. That's all the clips we have for you tonight. This is the CE-2W Waza Craft Chorus. Pat, final thoughts?
I liked it.
I bet you liked it.
I bet I liked it. That was a surprise. He's going to do a montage one time every time we get to final thoughts. I liked it. 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 I really liked it. I did like it because I've said this before. I have a CE3. And at the time, it's because I love features. And you can run that one stereo, and it's got a couple modes or whatever. I'd have brought it tonight, but the switch isn't working right. It's an early 80s one. But I do like chorus. Chorus kind of got to be pretty passe for a while, and now it's back. I don't know if we have John Mayer to thank for that or whatever. But they sound great. And I love the Waza, again, because it gives you other options. And this CE2, oddly enough, helped me realize why the CE1 is such a legend. Because it sounds really good. And you can see them right next to each other on this pedal. And they both had their home. Like, they all sounded good. But if you were looking for a chorus flavor, this can give you several. And it was really interesting. I have to say, honestly, I think I said a few minutes ago, it's my first wet-dry situation. And hearing it in the room, it sounded great. It was really confusing because it didn't separate it in the room. When we first plugged it in, I thought I was hearing the chorus out of the Fender right behind me. So it's really it's almost like a subwoofer. Like, where's it coming from? It's just everywhere. So wet, dry, it sounded great. I love the options of the 3 choices on there. It's a boss. I mean, it's a great pedal.
Appropriately named.
That's right. It might be the boss, I should say. So it's great. We've tried other chorus pedals. They're great. This one is really nice. I like the dimensions also in the Waza. The Waza stuff, second one I think I've tried.
Yeah, you almost wonder, because I know there's some boss haters out there, and then there's some boss people that like collect every pedal, right. So it's like both ends of the spectrum. The thing that cracks me up, though, if you think about it, how many of the boutique chorus pedals, which we'll probably have a bunch in the series eventually, are based on that original CE2 sound, right? Or the CE1 sound, right? We've already had one pedal in this series that's not boss, that is totally. I mean, it's a clone of the CE1. Yep. So now some people take them a little farther. Let's add a volume knob. Let's add, they add some features to them that maybe this didn't have. But I mean, they kind of nailed that sound with this pedal in the beginning. It seems like. I thought it sounded great. I was surprised that I liked the CE1 as much as I did in this pedal. Right. I thought I was going to be as like CE2 all the way. And man, I kept thinking that every time we flipped to that CE1, I'm like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. The other thing that surprised me is I like the vibrato section of it too. Right. Like that's not an effect that I was a big fan of for a long time. And all of a sudden I'm starting to like it more and more. And then when you hear it in the wet dry, and I can't personally wait to hear how that sounds coming through the speakers or through a pair of headphones. Probably, if you're listening to your iPhone, it probably, you get an idea, right? But I mean, it's a good point of reference. People always trash people. Well, if you're listening through your iPhone, well, you've listened to everything through your iPhone speaker, so you have a pretty point of reference to what it's going to sound like. But, you know, throw a set of headphones in, I bet it will sound even better. But I'm interested because of what you said. Like, we literally plugged in and we're like, that's not doing what it says. Turn the volume down on the Tyler, and we're like, no, it's totally dry over there. Right. In fact, Pat's probably going to be like, oh my, when we do the thing and we mute the amps, because I'm not even sure. Last week when we did the tremolo, our favorite tremolos, that Hydra clip at the end has no reverb on either one of the amps, and I bet the reverb on that Fender is totally off. Right. I mean, that is going to be dry as maybe it got turned on. So you're going to hear like big, beautiful, less coarse, just the wet, and dry as a bone.
That's right. People want to hear what something sounds like.
But I mean, that's a testament to how good it sounded in the room. So anyway, keep in mind that DLS effect's always on the Echo Tour is always on the Tyler. It's just on. I think that's all that to say, man, what a cool chorus pedal. And if you can't find a good sounding chorus pedal out there right now.
Right. You don't like chorus. You shouldn't be buying them anyway.
You probably shouldn't buy any of them.
Sell me the one you currently have.
So anyway, with that, I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man, let's get some more Waza stuff in. This is fun. This is great.
Yeah. With that, thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, click the notification bell, leaving a comment. Anytime you interact with the channel, that's what helps us interact with cool people. In this case, we got this in from Zzounds. And, you know, we appreciate them. I'll put a link down in the description, affiliate link or whatever, to Zzounds if you're looking to get one. If you get it there. Sure, that affiliate link helps us out a little bit. But more importantly, man, Zzounds sent us the guitar. They sent us a lot of stuff to share with you, and we just appreciate that, and we appreciate you for helping out. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.